on the 1 yard line with their backs against the wall.
This ain't a game to me. If you think it's a game, get the off of this box.
Look at this. Oh, they're rushing you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Sylum.
Cody, it was a successful road trip, 1-1 road trip. The Cyclones were able to rebound as they beat the Utes in Salt Lake City 75-59. Basically a workmanlike win. I mean, obviously Utah was making impossible shots at the beginning, but Iowa State was able to pull away in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. In this game, we saw the things that Iowa State wasn't able to do against BYU. They were able to do against Utah. I mean, obviously, BYU and Utah are on two different levels when it comes to play, but still, at the end of the day, going out west, going out to Utah, playing at 8 p.m. local time in the state of Iowa, not always the easiest thing to do. And yeah. Again, credit to Utah because they were making shots that they just couldn't miss for a bit. But one thing that did help Iowa State, and this is what we didn't see against BYU, was win the turnover margin and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I Bleav they won that 18-9, and I will get the numbers for you. Sorry, bad stuff on us. But the largest lead Iowa State held was 17 points. Iowa State went 12 of 18 from the free throw line. Obviously, that they're shooting at their season average. So you sort of want to get that up, but they forced 18 points, so they were able to get 20 points off 18 turnovers. So that's great. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then something else that Iowa State was able to do too is really dominate the glass. They got, actually the rebounds were about the same defensively, but Iowa State doubled up on the offensive rebounds, which led to more second chance points, and Iowa State was able to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yes, it was a great display of just dominance again, and now we one of the main burning questions was why was Dominicus Plata out? Apparently, Dominicus Plata was starting. The reason why he was starting was because Buchanan came into the game with headaches, and it's hard to play in a basketball game when your head is throbbing. So he was able to Plata was able to take minutes away from Buchanan. Buchanan had a good game, 10 points, 3 rebounds, and did most of his work in the second half.
Yeah. So you mentioned the headache thing, and TJ Altenberger mentioned this in the post game that Blake Buchanan hadn't really been practicing the last couple days prior to the Utah game because of said headache. So Dominicus Player did get the start, and I mean the bigs they had a much better day in the glass, on the glass and in the paint.
Definitely. So we are actually going to get off of that because obviously there's not really not much else to break down. Self-explanatory. Iowa State is up to 24-4, which is probably one of their best starts ever in school history. Now we're going to talk about something that I didn't think we were going to talk about. Cody, we're going to talk about this Penn State discourse. It has been the talk of Iowa State Twitter, the talk of just Iowa State media as Rocco Becht comes up to the, I wish I could say podium, but they're in a cafeteria at Penn State, and he's about to do a press conference around 5 people around a lunch table. And apparently the Penn State media was taking digs at Iowa State media.
Yeah. So this stems from a tweet made by Mark Brennan yesterday. So the original tweet reads, quote, "New Penn State quarterback Rocco Becht discovers he's not in Ames anymore," cool scene at his first Penn State presser. Stay tuned for more at their like 24/7 sports websites. This was from 24/7, and basically the comment of like referring to like the he's not an Ames part, and that kind of just took a dig at Iowa State, and Iowa State fans obviously were not too happy about it, and the replies certainly showed it.
Yeah, I mean, and Chris Williams was like, "Man, what?" He's like, "What does this? What is this supposed to mean?"
Hmm.
Because I mean, everybody just was showing like Iowa State's
Yeah,
press room at the Jacobson building, and like it was just a whole firestorm of stuff.
yeah,
Penn State fans were calling Iowa State fans soft. I was like, "Nah, man. I like if anything, like even though Penn State is like in the middle of nowhere, Penn
yeah,
State, most of the people are either probably are from Pittsburgh or
or for Philly.
Philadelphia. So it's gonna be that East Coast media where like they're not. It's a totally different animal on the East Coast
Hmm.
because when you're not playing well, they're gonna let you know.
Yeah,
I mean, here we let you know, but like Midwest is different than the East Coast.
yeah, and this is a problem that I have too with like that their whole like perception of it. They already don't necessarily have the great like the best perception of the Midwest. They think we're just a bunch of like random like Midwest farmers or whatever that live in very rural areas. If you think Ames is rural, State College is way more rural than that. I just searched
Right.
how long it took to get from Philly to State College. It takes 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, it takes what 40 minutes to get to Des Moines from Ames. And then if you want to go to Iowa City, it's only 2 hours, so it's not even that bad. And also, speaking of Iowa City, why are Iowa fans interjecting themselves into this? I know dang well that you are not talking here. Meanwhile, we beat you. I don't even want to hear it from y'all. Y'all are over here like, oh, look, Iowa State fans are seething. They're laughing and whatever. It's ridiculous.
It's because a coach that was starting to get the best of them is now gone. So now they're gonna laugh at our supposed at us being supposedly the dumpster fire of a program, which
Yeah.
we're way in a way better position now.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
whatever.
It was hilarious seeing the Iowa fans like really like this is my words directly. They literally are sucking up to every other fan base that actually like does something to beat us because they couldn't do it themselves.
Of course, that's what you're gonna do when you can't beat anybody.
And it's weird, like you're like back in on the right of Penn State. Like that's in your conference. You just played them last year. What are you doing?
Yeah, and if they were healthy, they would have lost. But
Yeah.
that's
And
a
listen,
whole nother
yeah, and
story.
they're gonna say, "Oh, it's trolling, whatever." But I'm like, it's a dumb troll to really like go into like something that doesn't involve you and be like, "Yeah, for Iowa State fans to see them." Like, this has nothing to do with you.
Well, I'm about to say we literally just got astray for like literally no reason, and then we found out about it, and of course we're gonna be upset about it. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? Like, we were just gonna brush it under the rug, especially when Penn State stole our entire team.
Hmm.
So like you already know that it's already not gonna be buddy buddy.
Yeah, and that just goes to my issue. Like Iowa, they do this too. Like the Iowa Twitter base, they tend to do this when they can't beat us. They piggyback off. I have a different term I want to say, but for like PG sake, I probably don't want to say it. But like they just piggyback right
Yeah, I
off of
know
like
what you
everybody else
mean.
for some stupid reason.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's irritating, but hey, that's what happens in rivalries.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So
yeah, enough
that
of
means Iowa
that.
fans don't say it
I
isn't a
wanted,
rivalry.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to hear it on
yes,
Twitter. Your
I
own when your own basketball player
totally
says
do.
it.
Nah, they're trying to have this stupid superiority complex. I'm like, you guys stop, bro. I'm like, because there's so many examples that I could say when you were laughing when Campbell left, when you were laughing when we lost 2 games in a row to Cincinnati and can like, come on, y'all like the first people there. But enough of that. We're gonna take a look across the chaotic Big 12. Obviously, there's not really much happening in the Big 12, but we're gonna take a look at it anyway.
Yeah. I think we have to start with Big Monday.
Yes, let's start with Big Monday.
Yep. So pretty much this Houston, Kansas. Both teams are coming off losses. Houston coming off a loss against Arizona, who, funny enough, was also coming off a loss. So both teams were looking for a win, and Arizona was able to walk in for Tita Center and take care of business. Meanwhile, aforementioned Kansas, they were stunned, losing by 16 against Cincinnati at Allen Fieldhouse. And you think, how rare is that?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Oh, Kansas losing at home to unranked Cincinnati by double digits. I think the last time that happened was at like 20 some year, 30 years some years ago.
Yeah, I think 30 something years. I think I want to say 1993. It was the last time that happened.
Hmm.
So it's been 30 plus years, basically my entire lifetime since they've lost to an unranked team at home, which
Yeah.
is really bananas when you think about it.
Hmm. I mean, you got pantsed by Ezra and James' son and Mustafa Cham on national television on CBS.
I mean, 28-8. Like you like you guys you know that they were gonna come in motivated as ever, um, like going into that game.
Yeah, it's something to do with like unranked teams walking to Allen Fieldhouse and beating Kansas. It's a weird thing.
And like we talked about in Monday's show, we were like, I was like, something's got to give. Like either Houston
Oh, kind of lost you there, but
yeah.
yeah, kind of lost you there for a second.
Oh, I was just saying, man, I was just saying that you rarely ever see Kansas lose twice at Fog Allen.
Mhm. And that certainly was not the case on Big Monday. Kansas just handles Houston 69-56 was the final score. And I mean, yeah, they're right back on track. And Trey White with the season high 23 points to lead the team.
Yeah, he was on fire. 6 of 9 from the field. 8 of 8 free throws. Huge. 3 or 4 from three. Bryson Tiller adds in 11 and 10. Melvin Council Jr. with 11 and 6. Darren Peterson 14 and 4. 5 of 14 from the field. 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Also, Jamari McDowell had 6 points off the bench. Um, I'll say this: you see, Houston is shot 5 of 24 from the field.
Oh, from
I don't
three.
know if yeah, sorry, yeah, 5 of 24 from three. Excuse me. But Cody, I gotta ask you something. Do you think that one of Houston's struggles, one of the reasons why they're struggling is because they're taking way too many jump shots? Because I feel like for me, I think that's the conclusion that I've come to of what why they're struggling, and I think they also just don't have that type of presence like Jawan Roberts did that where he was at last year.
Yeah, for sure. They kind of go hand in hand. Yeah, they were taking too many jump shots, but that is just a result of not having that interior presence like a Jawan Roberts. It's clear that Jojo Tuckler just isn't matching up to what they need. And yeah, you basically are living and dying by Milos Uzan and Emmanuel Sharp nailing their shots, and they didn't. They want to combine 2 of 10 from three. And this was these are two guys who were on that national championship team last year, but
Hmm.
maybe that was more because of the interior presence. And you were expecting maybe an improvement in both Sharp and Uzan's game, and you they clearly have not seen it.
Yeah, Kingston Flemings has been the freshman has been carrying this team offensively for the last few games now, and I mean, luckily they have to end the season. They have 3 games that they'll be able to get back on track. But this is going to be something to really pay attention to as we get towards March because if they shoot like this again, this could be a surprisingly early exit for the Cougs.
Hmm. Yeah, that's something I didn't think we'd be talking about, but I mean now it's one of those concerns that yeah you should be a little bit worried. But overall, Kansas once again I mean Bill Self just doesn't lose on Big Monday, and the streak lives on.
Yeah, Strickland's on. We're gonna take a look at the standings real quick and a look at KU's schedule. Um, So, as you see, there is a log jam right now for second place. There's one, two, three, a four-way tie for second place right now in the Big 12. We have which involves Iowa State, Houston, Kansas, and Texas Tech. Iowa State and Texas Tech play each other on Saturday. We'll be breaking that down later. But to end the season, this is what KU's looks like. KU has the Arizona trip at Arizona. They play at 3 p.m. on Saturday on ESPN, and then at Arizona State. And then we'll just go through each team, what each team has. Iowa State has um, Texas Tech at Arizona and Arizona State at home. Texas Tech
Eh,
has
Aforementioned Iowa State, but
Texas
they
Tech has at Iowa State, TCU, and at BYU. And then Houston has
let's see. I guess Houston. I'm trying to think. 'Cause they got. Oh, okay.
Colorado, Baylor, and at Oklahoma State.
Hmm. So I mean, this is kind of like the race to the finish for all these teams. Arizona pretty much has the Big 12 regular season title on lock, unless Iowa State can go in there and beat Arizona and Tucson. I would like to say that, but we'll talk about it a little later. But yeah, just that logjam for second place is ridiculous because they're all vying to get that double bye because I think that's going to be huge for your success in Kansas City.
Yes, for sure. No, like if you're gonna be the one that's so irritated. Like you're gonna be irritated if you're that fifth place team and you got to play on Wednesday. It sort of messes up, especially if you're not like one of the main three, like Iowa State, or Kansas State. Or
Okay.
I'll say in this for the top two teams up in the standings. As long as you're not Iowa State or Kansas, like you're gonna be like kicking yourself. You'll be like, man, if we just fixed one of these, like losing a game you shouldn't. Like Texas Tech lost a game that they shouldn't this year, and if they get to the fifth seed, they're gonna be kicking themselves for losing the game that they shouldn't have.
Yeah. Uh, and then that schedule mentioned. Well, hold on. I'm trying to think too, because like Iowa State, obviously, I think they've got the leg up on Houston, so we've got the leg up on Houston there. So we just got to keep winning. We have the leg up on them. We beat Texas Tech, we're gonna have the leg up on them and pretty much secure that double bye, which is the thing. Well, mentioned a little later, but outside of Houston, Kansas, Tuesday, we there was something interesting that happened on that day.
Yes, there is. And before we get to that, I wanted to show Chris. Chris, thank you for watching. He said having that Kansas at Arizona on Saturday before we play on Monday. I like how that could play for Iowa State body blow theory, if you will. Yeah, that's an interesting. That is an interesting thing because let's say Kansas goes in there and beats Arizona at McHale. It really, and then Iowa State does what they do. I mean, it sets up 13-3 and 12-4, and at that point, if Iowa State were to go into McHale and win, I mean, it could set up for maybe a share at a Big 12 title. So I mean, I think if you're still looking at that sense,
Yeah,
we are going to be the biggest Kansas fans this weekend.
which is funny. Wait, but I wonder since we would have the head to head against Arizona, wouldn't that make us technically out unofficially outright then? Even though we're presuming that Iowa State and Arizona share the same Big 12 record because of the head to head, that would make Iowa State the unofficial official outright regular season champ.
Well, I think we'd also have to see the common opponents too, right?
I feel
Because
no head to head would be the first, and that'd be the biggest indicator to me.
okay,
Yeah, because if you already have that head to head, you don't need to worry about anything else.
good point. Yeah, you're right.
So
Okay. And as we move on to Tuesday, thank you for that. Thank you for that comment, Chris. Thank you for watching the show.
uh, so just across country, Duke puts 100 on Notre Dame. I mean, there's not much there, but Arizona they survive a game in Waco against Baylor, and Baylor for a good amount of this game they were in it, and they actually led for some time.
Yeah, I mean they gave Baylor all they could handle. Cameron Carr, with 26 points, um, and they were leading at least for the last few minutes, and then Arizona took over the lead, unfortunately. But this is not the most shocking result. We got to talk about this. UCF goes into the Marriott Center and beats uh, BYU 97-84. We got to go to the probabilities and game flow chart because, I mean, you got to look at there was at one point that BYU was down 35 points in this game. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
It- It's
Or
the
30
yeah.
They were down
This
70-35.
this is the meme of I don't know if you've seen this meme. It's the Kanye face of does it look like I'm laughing? That's
Oh
what every
yeah.
Iowa State fan had to have felt seeing this game.
How Sway? How?
And we're just like, are you serious?
Ah.
Really? You do that after you beat us? Like what? Why?
I mean, look, it just proves that we're everyone's Super Bowl man.
I need to make a tally mark for how many times this has happened to Iowa State, where it's like the game or two after team beats us. What do?
They lay an egg.
And clearly they did here. I mean, I think what helped UCF in this game was they had the athleticism that Iowa State didn't have. They had a guy like John Bull, and Iowa State simply does not have that.
Yeah. I mean, you see, yeah, they get great solid point, Cody. But you see, UCF. Let's take a deep and look at the stats. Um, man, BYU did not lead at all in this game,
Nope.
and UCF on 14 of wow, almost shooting 60% from three. 14 of 24. Devonta gets his 29-8, but like my goodness.
I feel like a lot of that was in garbage time too. That's the pro. I feel like that's what it was. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean a lot of it wasn't garbage time because they scored 56 points in the second half.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, the game was way out of reach. For a moment, I was like, "Oh boy, here comes the BYU late game comeback gimmick."
I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. We were in the space.
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? I think that this is too big of a gap. This isn't what happened against Arizona. Like the gap was simply too large.
Yeah, and another comment by Chris. How did Cincinnati beat Kansas by 16?
Uh, let's one of two things. Number one, Darren Peterson was very inefficient on this day. He went 7 of 17, 1 of 7 from three. And also Mustafa Chum went off against them. 28 points in the goal.
Yeah, that, and then I also think that they were just looking ahead to Houston.
A little bit.
Yeah, but man, yeah, this was probably the most shocking result. Um, they beat them by points in the paint, 44-34. Um, they got man, golly, 25 assists on man, 32 assists on 36 made baskets. That's what
Yeah.
wins you basketball games, man.
Mhm. I don't know if it was this game, but was there a point where it was like 18-2 in terms of assists?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah, so that definitely helped. Yeah, I think we talked about that.
We were in the post game space, and I believe Cole brought our good friend Cole brought that up in the
Hmm.
space when there was 26 made shots on two assists. I'm like, wow.
Yep. So I mean, there's kind of the recipe to being BYU, and that's just something that Iowa State we just can't. We just seem to be like we are to UCF what BYU is to us
Yes, because we said beat this same UCF team
by 30.
by 30. I mean, like this conference is absolutely insane. I mean, let's take a look at later we will. But UCF has a chance to maybe win a good 23 or 24 games, and depending on how the tiebreakers go, maybe they could get a first round bye.
They could get that double bye. Actually, there's a there's a shot in the dark because I Bleav, yeah, because they did beat Texas Tech.
Man, yeah, that Texas Tech win is looking way, way better.
Hmm.
Who
So
would have
it's
thought?
yeah.
What
So
a year.
and they've got the win over Kansas too.
Yeah,
So there is a world where if the cards fall right for UCF, they could be in the top four of the Big 12.
man, what a year. I love this conference, Cody.
Yep.
All right, here are some other notable matchups. Michigan survives at home as they pull away and beat Minnesota 77 to 67.
Yeah. This was surprisingly more competitive than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, looks like
14 made threes versus 12. That's not too bad. Turnovers, I think, kind of killed Michigan a little bit. 14-8, but the rebounding really helped out. So it looked like Michigan just they could never pull away, but the game was it just never in doubt for them.
when you get 39 rebounds and you rebound them by 25, basically, or by yeah, by 21 rebounds. That yeah, you're gonna win a lot of games that way. So Michigan 16-1 looks like they're about to wrap. They looks like they've already wrapped up the regular season title. So best
Yeah.
to Michigan as they look to possibly be fighting out for the number. Well, probably it'll be the second number one seed, but since they lost to Duke, but
Yeah. And
um,
Michigan's a team I do not want Iowa State to be facing in like a Sweet 16 or Elite Eight just because of that rebounding and obviously Iowa State's issues at times rebounding.
yeah, luckily since we'll probably be a two seed, we won't be facing them to the Elite Eight. Um, yeah, let's look at other notable matchups. Miami of Ohio moves to 28-0 as they beat Central Michigan 74 to 64.
Yeah. I mean, Miami of Ohio, they're still undefeated, so I'm curious to see where where Miami of Ohio falls in terms of like where they're going to be seeding wise.
I gotta think that they're either gonna be somewhere between a seven seed and a nine seed.
Hmm.
I'll say the only reason why I say seven seed is probably the highest that they can max out at, which
Yeah.
means that they'd be facing one of the two seeds in the round of 32.
Yeah, I guess that
Um,
makes sense considering the MAC isn't exactly the strongest conference.
yeah, and I'm thinking it has to be eight or nine. I think they're gonna be matched up with a one seed in the second round,
Uh
and
huh.
depending on which one seed you face, they can definitely give that team some trouble.
Yep, for sure, for sure. Uh, and then just elsewhere around the country, I think I saw like something mentioned here, Northwestern Indiana. Like, oh, that's bad for Indiana. You cannot lose that if you're trying to get into the bubble.
Man, yeah, there it is. That's this game. This game was on right uh, before our game.
Yeah,
Yeah, Martinelli for Northwestern, 28 points as Northwestern goes in, and a bad loss for IU as in many bracketologies they were a lock as a 10 seed, and this definitely getting a quad three loss right before March. It's not felt.
yeah. I mean, that puts you right back into possibly being one of those teams on the like on the last four in, first four out type of deal. So that's a bad loss if you're Indiana trying to get into the tournament.
Definitely. And then you see Texas Tech rebounding as they win at home 80 to 68 over a hot Cincinnati team
Yeah.
who was having great wins the last few games.
Yeah, and this was Christian Anderson leading the load, 31 points for him. Played basically the entire game, went perfect from the free throw line. So this is maybe probably a good way to segue and kind of like previewing Texas Tech. Obviously, they've been without JT Top in the last couple of games, but it looks like they haven't slowed down. Granted, they played a couple of not the greatest opponents. Kansas State ain't exactly great competition for them. They won that by about 30. Then they get this win over Cincinnati, who was coming in hot, and they come in Ames, Iowa on CBS at 3 o'clock local time.
Yeah, it's going to be a great, great matchup. especially for Iowa State. This is gonna Iowa State's second to last home game before they end the season off with
Yeah.
Arizona State.
Yeah.
But
Some
here we go. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm hearing like maybe some people are like maybe a little worried because like obviously the way Texas Tech has played and maybe like it's kind of like play style whatever that could maybe be an issue for Iowa State. But I think from what I saw against Utah, maybe Milan has the confidence because like it's good to see that his shooting was back to where we usually expect it to be, shot 50% from three. So
Yeah.
we're seeing some good things there, and I mean before we get to the rest of Iowa State, yeah, Texas Tech, Christian Anderson obviously is going to be the number one guy, and then guys like Juan Watts and Jalen Petty kind of shoot themselves in as kind of like role players. So, but I mean, Greg McCaskill's been able to figure out a way to still win without one of the best players in the Big 12.
Yeah, and we're taking a look at the lineup. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit different now without JT Toppin. I Bleav it's going to be either Tyree Bryan that's going to be taking over his
Hmm.
position, or Donovan Atwell. But here are the efficiency numbers. You look at the recent games and you look at their offensive efficiency the last few games playing Cincinnati and Kansas State, 142.9 and 145.7. But you look at the two games previous on the Arizona trips, their offensive efficiency wasn't as good. But they basically have been feasting on this schedule. Obviously, beating uh, beating Houston at home and then losing to Kansas at home. But they've been able to feast with the schedule.
Yeah. And then once again, took a look. Chris brought up another point. Texas Tech now lives and dies by the three. So kind of like what BYU's done to us. Yeah. The last two games, Texas Tech they shot 28 threes against Kansas State, and then they shot 25 threes against Cincinnati. They went 40% against Cincinnati and 46% against Kansas State. So that is something that does. If there is one weakness that teams could take advantage of is that 3 point shooting because when the way that Iowa State likes to double team and have high ball pressure, you skip it out and you have a guy wide open, and if he hits the shot, then that's going to be a bad matchup for Iowa State. So that's maybe where I have a little bit of concern, but just like I'm pretty sure it'd be juiced up and just if the shots aren't falling for Texas Tech, that could make it much more easier for Iowa State to kind of handle Texas Tech
Yes.
because I mean the big example is obviously BYU. We know it's like when they just chuck up threes and they make them, it's always difficult for us. So this is kind of where I don't know, does the shooting cool off or does it like continue to go? Or does Iowa State maybe try to match that out? I mean, that's where I think outside of Milan Mochilovic, you got to see guys like Jamarian Bateman step up because he's looked really good the last few games and he's really
Yeah.
got himself more minutes. So he might have to step in and make a few threes. Need to see that too out of Torrey, Jefferson, Lipsy, and Heisey. Then make a couple threes.
Hmm.
And just spreading the ball around will be key for Iowa State's offense.
Yeah. This is going to be a game to where the offense cannot afford stagnant. Like you can't have the ball sticking in anybody's hands until this is not a game where Joshua Jefferson should be the main ball handler. You have to pass the ball around to get a quality shot, take the shot. If you don't rebound it, get another quality shot, rebound again.
Yeah.
The bigs are gonna have to show up huge in this one.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
so too, because I think this would be a good game for them because you mentioned Top and the other forward that's of note is Juan Watts, who
yeah,
averages about 6 rebounds, and then the next guy, Bam Boye, averages about 3 rebounds. So those will probably be the two bigs that like I expect to like get regular minutes. But this is probably gonna be a more of a smaller like lineup because it's mostly guards. Anderson, Atwell, Petty, Bryan are all guards, but maybe they could maybe flex as like a three.
yeah, and I sort of look at Texas Tech's success this season as maybe like a possibly like a BYU like last year.
Yeah.
BYU shooting basically led them all the way to the Sweet 16 until they played a team that was hotter, and the fact that they couldn't defend, they just ended up getting murdered by Alabama in the Sweet 16.
Right.
So that could possibly be something that could carry Texas Tech. But who knows? Like you said, like Chris said, living and dying by the three, I don't think is a good way or an efficient way to play basketball. But we're
Hmm.
have to going to see how the shoot if the shooting travels with them. So like for you, obviously we have the chart up with Evan Maya. What is a matchup that you're looking forward to seeing?
Give me Christian Anderson versus Taman Lipsey. I made the tweet this morning.
Yes.
That's basically what I expect to see. And and then I heard this too earlier today on Let Him Cook. Maybe this could be a game where Killian Torrey's due for getting his confidence back because he's been kind of timid these last like few games, and we've seen
Yes.
like kind of it being a detriment to Iowa State. So with that, plus Jameer Bateman getting all these minutes, maybe the staff like challenges Torrey to go out there and maybe get a few steals in the first half, get like a breakaway dunk, and just get that confidence back. Because if we do get a confident Torrey back, in addition to what Bateman's done, that's really good freshman duo to have.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Jalen Petty, and I believe he'd be facing Milan Momcilovic. I think. Um, I think with that matchup, because they're both like offensive players.
Yeah.
Milan, I think, because we got to remember, guys, that basically Milan met his match on 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 Saturday.
Against BYU. Yeah.
Yeah, against BYU, AJ DeBonta is a freak. He's a guy who can score 30, but he can also D you up, and has like a 7'1" wingspan. So that type of Dirk shot that got blocked, he was like, "Oh damn, what do we do
Yeah.
now?"
And
Because you
maybe
can't really even guard against that.
yeah, and maybe Milan got like he got a bit timid in that and kind of just shied away, and that's part of like why we lost that game. It's just the balance
Hmm.
does shutting down Milan Vucevic, and that's maybe where like Milan should have been way more confident, obviously, and not let that get to him. But sometimes that's gonna happen. You just meet a guy that's way more athletic than you, and he's shutting down everything you're used to doing. So I mean, this seeing what he did against Utah got it going in the second half. He might have some confidence back, and I think that bodes well for Iowa State because they need a confident Mila Momcilovic, a guy who could just
Hmm.
get his own shot and just take it, whatever, regardless of who's guarding him. That's something I think is missing. Iowa State is just a guy who, regardless of who he's going up against, who's guarding him. He's like, I'm getting this shot one way or another. You're not stopping me. So we need to see kind of like that killer instinct come out from the guys again. And this is a great opportunity to do it in front of your home fans on CBS. This would be a great time to find that again, heading into Kansas City and heading into March Madness.
Yes, Cody. Yes, yes. I think for us now, let's get into our three keys into getting into this game. What are you looking at as your 3 points to success for the Cyclones to get their 25th win of the season?
Like I just said, just gotta have a much more aggressive Mila Momcilovic, a much more confident Mila Momcilovic because he opens up the floor for everybody else when the defense kind of centers in on Mila Momcilovic. If he's able to get it out, and then guys are hitting a couple shots, then that can really help out. So have him be aggressive, have him hunting for a shot. Number two, Killian Torrey's due for another breakout game. He's due to get like a couple steals. So need to see Torrey kind of get back to what he was earlier in the year when he was undoubtedly like he was a really good friend. Like we were talking possibly him going to the draft. So need to see that and maybe him getting challenged by Jameer Bateman, getting those minutes, and maybe the coaching staff kind of challenges him to have like those Torrey plays. And then number three, dominate the glass. There should be no excuse to do so. They don't have Top and Plata and Buchanan. What we saw on Tuesday, do that again. Just dominate the glass. Get those second chance points because that getting those second chance points will be key to keeping Texas Tech away from shooting all those threes.
Completely agree. Here are my three keys. Number one is contain Christian Anderson. You know Christian Anderson is going to be near the 3 point line. Obviously, he's going to be driving too, but this is going to be a obviously it's going to be a great assignment for Taylor Lipsey. So I'd say contain Christian Anderson. Number two, dominate the glass, offensive and defensive glass. Offensively, you already know they're going to be shooting threes, so get those long rebounds to
Yep.
be able to create fast break opportunities, and also a part of the second one is is forcing turnovers.
Yeah.
Like you did, continue that like you did on Tuesday, and good things will happen. Um, and
Hmm.
then three, Milan, get mommy going,
Yeah.
get mommy hot.
Just
He get him like whenever he shoots in rhythm, and he's able to make that first three of the game, his confidence goes way up.
hmm and that opens up the space, like I said earlier. That opens up the floor for everybody else.
All right, so we just had our 3 points. So Cody, what is your prediction for Saturday?
Um, I think Iowa State they come back home, they take care of business, and I think this team's not going to look at the Arizona because we had like obviously maybe kind of look ahead. We've done it before, so this team would be stupid to try that again. So we know obviously Arizona's on the horizon, but coming back home, it's going to be nice. It's been like however long they haven't been back at home since Big Monday, so that's where the home crowd needs to come in, and I think they will. And Iowa State will likely win this game, say 84-77.
Okay, I have us winning by double digits. I think we're gonna pull away at the end. I think we win 79-69.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like it's gonna. I think Iowa State will get out to a lead, and then Texas Tech will try to get back into it, but Iowa State will be able to get a bucket, a timing bucket to kind of keep that distance.
I could totally see it going that way as
Yep.
well.
All right. So with that out of the way, we can take a look at some of the other games that are happening, including one that is happening live right now, as it is Michigan State at Purdue, and Purdue currently leads that game 9-4. We're about 3 minutes into that game, so this has some this implications for like seeding and whatnot, just because probably look out to see where those two teams fall in relation to Iowa State. We're probably not too worried, but for Michigan State and Purdue, where do you think they are? Like heading into this game, where do you think they would be seated?
So I think Purdue is definitely going to be the 2 seed. Michigan State has some work to do to get a 2 seed. I think Michigan State is in it as a 3 seed right now, but
Mhm.
Purdue is definitely a 2 seed.
Yep.
We want Purdue to be a 2 seed in another reason besides Midwest.
Yeah. So you have that, and then we mentioned Michigan a little bit earlier in the show. Tomorrow on Fox for primetime hoops at 7 p.m. Iowa time. Number 3 Michigan heads to Champaign to take on number 10 Illinois.
Illinois, after a bad loss in LA to
The,
UCLA, looks to rebound. So yeah, this is gonna be a great game, probably game of the year in the Big Ten.
yeah,
So
and then
we'll see.
also on that Friday, real quick, Miami of Ohio looks to continue their undefeated season as they head to uh, Kalamazoo to take on Western Michigan. So they're looking to stay undefeated. And then Saturday, we've got some really good games on Saturday.
Yes, we do. We have the college gaming game at Cameron Indoor for number 11 Virginia goes on the road and plays Duke. That
Yeah.
one's gonna be a dandy.
And I think maybe we're in a space. Some people might think Virginia can pull off the upset.
We'll have to see. We'll see what Virginia team shows up. They almost 30-piece NC State this past week, so we're gonna have to see.
Yep. Uh, and then going around the same time as our game against Texas Tech, number 2 Arizona hosting number 14 Kansas. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but I mean this one could be huge for Iowa State. And you mentioned Arizona beating or Kansas beating Arizona. I would much rather have Arizona beat Kansas low key, so that way we could come in there and beat them and get our 1 seed. Because I do not want to play an Arizona team that lost. Mind you, they are playing. Iowa State plays Arizona Big Monday, and you want to guess what the theme is for that game?
A whiteout game.
Yep. And this game against Kansas is the stripeout game. And I saw a thread. Shout out Ain't No Seats podcast, which is a Kansas-based podcast. They showed a thread of like what happens when teams do like T-shirt themed games against Kansas. They usually win them. Iowa State was featured a couple times on that thread.
Man,
So who
that's
knows?
interesting.
Yeah, so maybe Kansas can ruin that stripe out.
We'll see if they can say spoiler. We have a few other notable games in the early slot. We have Louisville going on the road to Little John Coliseum to play Clemson. Vanderbilt going on the road to play Kentucky after they try to rebound after losing to Tennessee. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah, speaking of Tennessee, they host Alabama.
Yes, and a ranked versus ranked matchup.
Yeah, St. John's looking to rebound from getting absolutely pummeled by UConn the second half against Villanova. St. Louis trying to rebound from that loss to Dayton when they host Duquesne. Arkansas heads down to Gainesville, Florida to take on the Gators.
Yeah, Florida had a huge win in Austin yesterday over the Texas Longhorns. Yeah, really, winning this game right here will probably solidify them the regular season title. They do have a few more games left. Like the next game, the notable games, next two games after this, Alabama and then at Kentucky to end the year.
Or Mississippi State, you mean?
Or so yeah, Mississippi State, and then you have Alabama and then Kentucky, and then Kentucky.
Oh, wait, no, they have 3 games left: Arkansas, Mississippi State, Kentucky, or maybe I'm misreading it. But if you're Florida, I think you do kind of want to root for Tennessee to win that game against Alabama because that can give you the title right then and there, assuming they take care of Arkansas.
Ah, yes. Sorry, my mistake. Cody was correct. It was Mississippi State. My fault.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, might have gotten them mixed up, but I mean, Florida looking to possibly, I don't know, they could have a dark horse shot to get somehow a 1 seed if like they get chaos in front of them,
If chaos ensues, Florida will get that last 1 seed,
and that would be
especially being in the
yeah.
South.
Yeah, then they would get to go to Houston, Texas, which would probably be not too bad of a trip for Gator fans.
I mean, it's right. It's gonna be right where they won the national title. So,
Yeah, they're not too far away.
all right. Well, Cody, that was a great show. So with that, we are going to end tonight's show. A big thank you to FanDuel. There are tons of promos out right now. If you know ball, go and make money with FanDuel. And also, make sure to follow us on social media. If you want to find Cody, he can be
Yep.
found at Tierney's Burner.
Yep.
If you want to find me, Tyler, I can be reached at Side Tie Guy, or if you want to reach out to the Bleav in Iowa State page, you can do that. We already got 2 more followers, so the show is being more coming more well known. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to tell people about us. Also, if you guys want to follow us on social media to see what we're up to, follow us on social media: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. And if you are a Twitch person, we are also on Twitch live streaming there right now. So the Twitch page is Bleav in ISU 2025. All right, we are going to be signing off today for Tyler Carter.
And for Cody Matsilam,
This is the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.
go Cyclones.